Welcome to the Steelers by the Lake podcast, as James would call it, the podcast. My name is Cody, joined by my co-host James, the strong man strong. James, how you doing on this lovely Tuesday?
Doing good, my man. Doing good. Feeling all healed up from that brief shoulder injury. That's all behind me now, it looks like. Chiropractors, I'm telling you, folks, see your chiropractors before your primary physician. They're wonderful.
Yep.
Anyway, just really enjoying it. Nice warm weather we got up here today, and lots going on in the Steeler world. I'm really excited about today's show, trying to get another one out here for you folks, and really appreciative of the large numbers that we've been seeing lately as well.
Yeah, real quick, have to apologize for the last episode. We had some audio issues that were going on. Those should be fixed now. That was on my end. My apologies for that. If you made it through that, I'm not only impressed, I'm also sorry. But we're here now. Audio's all fixed. Audio's all better, and we're ready to do this. So today, we're going to run through some of the news with the Steelers. Obviously, some of the news with Steelers by the Lake as we do our monthly recap. And we're going to go in, and we never got a chance to do the mock draft, so we're going to do that today as well. But again, if you guys haven't, make sure you follow us and like all the statuses and the posts and stuff on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell, baby. Let's get it. James.
Yeah.
Month in review, baby.
Let's go. Month in review. Last month was a really good month for us in March. We're going to talk about the top countries that it was downloaded in. I know the first one's going to shock you. The United States of America came in at number 1.
Wow.
Number 2, the UK putting in their strongest download month that I think we've ever seen, honestly. Canada in number 3, Spain 4, and then Brazil bringing up the rear in 5th place there. Now, when we move to the states, top downloaded state from last month, if I gave you one guess, who do you think it would be, Cody?
I'm going to say, I was debating on being like joking or not and saying Alaska. Yeah. Pennsylvania. It was Pennsylvania.
It was not Pennsylvania. It was actually Mississippi. In a stunning turn of events, Mississippi number 1 for the month of March. I am not kidding. It is the truth.
Where did you come from, Mississippi? What you doing? Dang.
Welcome to the party, Mississippi. We love you very much.
Well, this is a first. This is the first ever. First.
Yep.
Mississippi, congratulations. Congratulations.
It's on pace to happen again in April already with a different month or with a different state, I'm telling you.
Don't say.
I'm not saying who it is, but yeah, that's all you're gonna get from that.
I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look at it after the show.
Mississippi wins the title from last month. Pennsylvania number 2, Ohio not far behind them, California in 4th, and then Illinois bringing up the rear in 5th place there.
Wow.
So those states just kind of keep on jumbling around a little bit there, and very cool to see that big surge in Mississippi.
Holy cow. Mississippi. Wow. Okay. I'm like hyped
spell
now.
It right.
MISSISSIPPI.
That's a boy, man. You paid attention in school right there.
That's just because it was so fun to say, and I don't know why.
I love how it was like they taught us by teaching us to say it fast.
Yeah.
Like, everyone knows how to spell. Yeah, everyone knows how to spell Mississippi because it was fast.
Yep. Oh, that's funny. All right. Well. This is a big thing. The last episode was a big thing, but we want to take a moment and recognize this one specifically because the last one was trash with my audio. This is our 151st episode. 151, baby. We love it. We love it. We love it. 151. That's what we do. That's what we do. So again, I don't know. Thank you guys so much for continuing to like us, follow us, listen to us. I'm sorry. I don't know. Are we entertaining? I don't know. You keep coming back. I'm just curious. Whatever. I know that James appreciates it. I appreciate it. We both appreciate it very much. So thank you so much. Now we're going to dive right into Steelers news with a big, well, I shouldn't say a big, it's a big signing.
It's important.
Yeah, I would say important. That works.
Yeah. Definitely an important signing. We've been talking about the weaknesses on the Steelers roster currently, right? There's some areas, some gray areas where we think the depth needs to be improved. Maybe even a starting position that still isn't filled, like safety.
You didn't even hear what I said, did you?
You said kicker, didn't you? I could punch you right now. Boz for president, baby.
Boz would kick me right now.
You don't want him kicking you. That'd be murder.
No, him or Harvin. Neither one of them.
No.
Nope.
So Steelers bolstered their outside linebacker depth with the signing of Jannard Avery. Jannard Avery, if the name sounds familiar with you, he was a former 5th-round draft pick of the Cleveland Browns. They actually traded him away for 4th-round pick like a year later to the Eagles. And he's played a lot of outside linebacker. He's played some off-ball or middle linebacker, as it would be for the Steelers. So he's a really athletic dude, ran a 4.59 40 when he came out his rookie season. So that was only 4 years ago. He's coming off of his rookie deal right now. And has some capabilities as an off-ball linebacker. There's a possibility Pittsburgh could be thinking about using him in that way. He does have some pass rush ability. He had, I want to say, 4.5 or 5 sacks in his rookie season. And then that's when they brought in Olivier Vernon, so they didn't really need him there anymore.
Yeah.
And then Jadeveon Clowney after Vernon. So he just kind of was expendable, and they moved on away from him. His biggest weakness is going to be his arm length. He only has 31-inch long arms, which is probably why he's kind of bounced around a little bit, but incredibly stout, good at shedding a blocker and pursuing the ball to get a runner down. So high effort guy, high athletic guy.
Yeah, speaking of someone who's good at pursuing a ball carrier, Stephon Tuitt has been in the building for a month now. That's great. I don't know what else to say because we have no information about him being in the building. Like if he's lifting, if he's working out, what he looks like. Is he football ready? Is he not? Is he mentally stable? Like we got nothing. We just know he's been there.
I think they're kind of insinuating that he's lifting, but nobody's willing to say. And the only way you're going to get it out of anyone is if a player actually tells it, because none of the reporters are allowed to say.
Nope.
So they can see him there all day long, every day, and they're not allowed to say a single thing.
And that's
so
the
unless
benefit.
Tomlin or Colbert says it, or if one of the players says it,
or if whoever. That's the one benefit of us being call us a third-party podcast. We can say whatever the heck we want. The only problem is we don't have the information because we're not there. But if we ever hear anything or see anything or anything like that, we could talk about whatever we want to talk about that other podcasts or other people just aren't legally allowed to talk about. So that's kind of cool. Nice little side fact. Let's talk about something else that's changing in the world of football that I'm not exactly sure what to think about.
Yeah, so this ought to make you happy, Cody. You're a big fan of changing the overtime rules after that Bills-Kansas City playoff game. The NFL agreed with you with, I want to say it was like 27 or 28 teams voting in favor of the rule change. I think it was 20.
I thought it was 28 or 29. Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, it was an extreme majority. Only a couple voted against it. With this only being a change in the playoffs, each team will get the chance to possess the ball once at least, no matter what happens. So if the first team scores a touchdown, gets the extra point, the opposing team does get to receive the kickoff and attempt to score a touchdown and extra point to tie the game. If they were to say go for 2 and get the 2-point conversion, guess what? It's over right there.
Yep.
They win the game. So this does give an advantage to the second team as far as going after the 2-point conversion, but it also kind of gives an advantage to the first team because if you're one of those teams that can waste a whole bunch of time, they did not change the rules as far as how much time is in this overtime. So you could, in theory, waste the entire clock other than like 10 seconds, score your touchdown, kick your extra point, kick it deep to the other team, and then they have to try to basically win with a Hail Mary.
Yeah. I don't like that.
There's still some holes in it.
There's still some holes in it. I think this will be a good test run. I think we're going to realize very quickly with a team like Kansas City still in the league and having the players they have, obviously not Tyreek, but even the addition of Juju helps them tremendously from where they would have been without Tyreek. Or just simply without Tyreek. I think a team like that can still manage the clock very well and to the point where we're probably still going to see them at some point, well, if they even make it to overtime, just dominate the clock like you were talking about, which is really upsetting. I think, like we talked about before the show, James had mentioned, I think that it's got to be 2 untimed possessions and then run the clock after. Yeah. So it's the only thing that makes sense. If you're going to give 2 people possessions, they got to have, It's still not
equal.
fair. The whole point was making it fair, and now it's still not fair.
If you're gonna do this in the effort of making it fair, then it needs to be untimed for each of them.
Yep.
Or you could just time the possession itself. Put a 5-minute limit on the possession per team. Don't let them go more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That way you're still keeping the clock to a lower amount, like what the goal is, because they're trying not to draw the games out and make them last forever, which is why they didn't change the actual time of overtime. But yeah, I mean, my concern, and Cody and I talked about this a little bit pre-show, but to let you in behind the scenes of what we were talking about, a team like Kansas City with a tight end like Travis Kelce, and now a receiver like Juju Smith-Schuster, and a really athletic running back who's good. You know, all three of these are good run after catch kind of guys.
And a mobile quarterback.
And a really mobile quarterback. All you have to do is dump these balls off a couple yards past the line of scrimmage, and you're going to waste 2 minutes and 15 seconds per 3 plays and chew up the whole clock and move right down the field. So this is... There's ways around most rules, and I don't know that this is any different. But at least it's a change, and we'll see how things go next year. For all we know, there won't even be any overtime in the playoffs next year.
Very true. Very true. Other Steelers news, not NFL news. Steelers did sign the safety Carl Joseph, who they brought in last year from the Las Vegas Raiders, onto the practice squad, and he signed a 1-year deal. Former first-round pick. Who did he get picked by though? I don't remember.
The Raiders.
Was it the Raiders?
Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot he got drafted by the Raiders. Anyways, he rode the practice squad with us a little bit last year. I think he got a couple call-ups to the active roster, but didn't see much playing time. So he signed on a 1-year deal. That's good because we still don't have a starting strong safety. Although I expect that to be addressed fairly shortly. We'll see.
Yeah, within the next 3.5 weeks, you're right.
I think we'll address the position before the draft. I just don't know who we're going to get before the draft.
Yeah.
At this point.
So the rumors out there right now is that there's a standing offer on the table for Terrell Edmunds, and he's reviewing other offers currently. We also know that there's an offer out there to the Honey Badger, but the Honey Badger is currently visiting the New Orleans Saints. Yeah. So he is definitely not just considering what Pittsburgh has on the table for him. So there's definitely some stuff out there Pittsburgh's working, but I think they're being smart about this. And if they had put an offer out there that was overpaying, one of these guys would have signed it already.
Yep.
So this shows that they're being very smart, they're being conservative, and they're not overpaying. I'm okay with either one of them personally. I think Honey Badger is a fantastic safety. He's 29, so he's going to start at some point in time slowing down. Is he the ideal strong safety? Maybe, maybe not. He's a little on the small side. But
he's the best option right now. I think it'd be...
His play level is very good, which is what you're looking for, right? Is he a tight end eraser? I'm not so sure about that. He's a little small for that role. But if you didn't go that route, bringing back Terrell Edmunds would kind of give you a bridge opportunity, kind of like what it is with Mitchell Trubisky, in my opinion. He's a bridge quarterback. He buys you time to wait and try to find the right long-term solution at the position. And I think if you were to re-sign Edmonds to like a 2-year deal, you could do the same thing there.
Yeah.
You could bide your time. You could even draft a high guy, a first or second round guy, and then sit him and let him develop and let him learn under Minka and Coach Terrell Austin and develop into that superstar kind of guy. Which I think there's some guys in this draft that could really absolutely be that.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of other people visiting the Saints, Taco Charlton, who was on our active roster last year for a short time, signed with the Saints. Not a huge deal, but again, this is beneficial for us for the fact that we signed Avery because of that outside linebacker depth. This was an outside linebacker kind of dipping away. Or excuse me. Yeah, Taco Charlton was outside linebacker.
Absolutely.
And I thought we had some good play from him, but again, it's not the biggest deal, in my opinion. I'm not super upset.
No, it's noteworthy because he's a former Steeler going to another team, which is basically the main reason we're bringing it up.
Yeah.
It would almost be as if like the number 3 tight end got signed by somebody else.
Kevin Rader.
Like, okay, we're going to tell you about it because, it
matters a little
bit. If Eric Ebron were to sign with somebody, Well, we weren't going to bring Eric Ebron back. We all knew that, but we're still going to talk about it because he's an ex-Steeler now.
Absolutely.
So
go for it.
New Steelers. Making the news in positive ways. Our new quarterback, Mitchell Trubisky, has decided he's going to hold a little practice sesh down in Florida. And he invited all the wide receivers, the other two quarterbacks on the roster, Mason and Dwayne, and Najee too. I wouldn't be surprised if the tight ends were invited also, to be honest, but I didn't hear whether or not they were.
Yeah.
But regardless, pretty cool to see that he's including even the other quarterbacks in this opportunity. And no better way to start gelling with everybody than to get together and say, hey, here we go. Let's get some throwing sessions in. Weather's great in Florida this time of year. That's why I'm about to go down there.
Yeah, you're right. You act like they're going to just be, they're going to be living it up, having some good food, drinking some, throwing some back. They're going to be hanging out, having a good time. They're going to be becoming friends as this as well. This isn't just
very
sports,
important,
which is, I think, underappreciated in the world of sports today. Them being
chemistry and camaraderie, man.
100%.
You go to war for your friend more than you do for just the guy that's a teammate
or a coworker or whatever else like that.
Yeah.
Like the things that James and I do because we're friends, you mother trucker. The things that James and I do for each other at work, we wouldn't do for just anybody. Granted,
that's
James
right.
is a great guy and he does a lot of stuff for a lot of people, but he does more for me, and I know that, and I appreciate him every second for it. But yeah, so last bit of Steelers news before we go into this mock draft that we'll do for you guys. And again, if you're listening to the podcast, we'll talk you through it. If you're watching, you'll obviously see the draft as it happens on the shared screen that we're going to pull up to do the mock draft online. Last bit of news, Minkah Fitzpatrick and the Steelers are trying to renegotiate an extension, or negotiate an extension. I shouldn't say renegotiate. And that's pivotal because here's the thing. If I'm Minkah, I want another solid safety back there next to me. Mm-hmm. I want that help. I want someone I can trust. Now he could easily say, okay, backload this contract. Like this should be a big contract for him long term. Like this should be 5 or 6 years. I would imagine. You could easily backload that, and he could say, hey, free up some from cap to bring in, Tyrann or whoever, whatever, very pivotal moment for the Steelers defense, the secondary specifically, with him going for this contract extension. So keep an ear out for that. I'm sure if news breaks, James or I will be posting to the social media so you guys can see it on our pages as well.
And this was made to sound, Didi Akinkabwala of the NFL Network was the one that reported this. And she made it sound like this is an imminent deal, like it is expected to be done within the next day or so. The last person that she reported about Pittsburgh being about to sign was Ahkello Witherspoon, and it definitely came true. So I'm going to hope that Aditi is just as plugged in as she normally is, and that this is about to happen because, man, it would be really nice to lock him down. The other nice thing about it is if you get Minkah on that long-term extension, how appealing is that for top-tier safeties on other teams that are free agents?
Yep.
Who wants to come play next to Minkah, a 2-time All-Pro, 2-time Pro Bowler? Yeah, that's a very appealing thing, man. Your job is that much easier when the guy next to you is that good.
And knowing that you got a guy up front, TJ Watt, who's, in for the long haul too. That's appealing as heck. You know what I'm saying?
And I want to say one of the picks that Terrell Edmonds had last year was one that Minkah popped up in the air by getting his hands on it. Yep. I mean, if they just watch the film from last year, they see the opportunities that he created for his teammates back there in the secondary. So, yeah, very, very, very huge thing.
Yeah, 100%. So let's go ahead and bounce over to this mock draft. All right, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and start this draft, see what comes off the board here. Malik Willis, wow, went second overall to the Detroit Lions. This is already
the new rumor, man. That's the new rumor is that the Lions are going to do it.
You never know. Trevor Penning fell to 6 to the Carolina Panthers. Gardner, the cornerback from Cincinnati, went at 11. Jordan Davis at 14 to the Baltimore Ravens. And here we are at number 20. Bernard Raymond just went, the offensive tackle from Central Michigan. So here's the thing. Sitting here looking at this, Devontae Wyatt is available. The other big defensive lineman from Georgia, who, quite frankly, him and his teammate Jordan Davis would be the only defensive lineman in this draft that I'd be interested in. In
the first round.
In the first round. Yeah.
Yeah. In the second round, I'd be on board with Perrion Winfrey.
Yeah.
And then there's another D tackle, but that's it.
And then Kenny Pickett fell here as well, which in a draft I did earlier today, he wasn't here. So, very
Did
interesting.
any other quarterbacks go in this, or was it just Malik Willis?
It was just Malik Willis was the only quarterback that went in the top 19.
Wow. A little on the unrealistic side, but it's in favor of Pittsburgh. If you think that they might go quarterback in the first round, all indications are that they are highly interested in that. But we're going to look through this real quick just to kind of get all our options here. So Devontae Wyatt and Kenny Pickett, the two top names there that are realistic. Now, Zion Johnson, the guard, I'm a huge fan of him, but Pittsburgh did not go to his pro day, so we can rule him out. It's not somebody that they're interested in as far as first round. Same with Tyler Linderbaum. He can be ruled out in the first round. Let's scroll down a little here and
Devin
see if
Lloyd's
there's anybody
available.
Else.
Dotson,
that's the top middle linebacker according to most. Jahan Dotson, the wide receiver of Penn State. The Steelers went to the pro day there. They did not take Kevin Colbert. They did not take Mike Tomlin. So kind of similar to the other ones, it rules those guys out as first round candidates.
Yeah.
Now, the other one that I would say is a highly, like a low key one for me that we really need to keep an eye on is Lewis Cine.
Yep.
You're already highlighting it. You knew where I was
I knew.
go. They sent the house.
I knew.
They sent the absolute house to Cincinnati. So that's somebody low-key I would say that they'd be considering.
And this says Georgia here. I'm not sure why it says
I'm sorry.
Georgia.
Yeah, it's Georgia. It's
Okay.
Georgia. He's a Georgia safety, yeah. They did send the house to Cincinnati, too.
They did. We know why.
Yeah,
two guys there.
I think that's probably the list. If we're looking at this realistically, Devontae Wyatt, Kenny Pickett, and Lewis Cine are probably the three most likely. Daxton Hill, the safety out of Michigan, probably should be on the radar there as well too. I do believe they sent Colbert to the Michigan Pro Day also, and he's the only one that makes any sense for them.
Yeah. So here's what I would say. I think that if they don't, this is hypothetical. If they bring in, I think if they bring in Tyrann Mathieu, Lewis is off the board. Lewis
he's
is
done. Yeah, there's no point in drafting him.
And I also believe that if Kenny Pickett's here, I don't think they're passing up on Kenny Pickett. That's the hard part.
I agree 100% with you on this. I am not as tempted by Devontae Wyatt as I am by Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
I think if Jordan Davis is there, it's a different conversation because he's a nose tackle that has extreme penetration capability. He immediately upgrades your defensive line against the run day
100%,
one.
100%.
But Devontae Wyatt, more of a pass rushing interior defensive lineman, would be kind of more of a I don't think Pittsburgh even has a guy that's similar to what he would be.
They
like,
don't.
honestly.
Not even close.
Yeah, I mean, he would be an excellent pass rushing defensive lineman. Don't get me wrong. Is he going to give you the run stopping capability that you need in order to really upgrade? I'm not 100% sold on that. So my vote here would be for Kenny Pickett as the new starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
My vote is as well.
Moving 30 feet from one locker room to the other in the same building.
Here's the only thing that sucks about this one right now. I don't think Pickett. I think if Pittsburgh gets Pickett or Willis, they will have to trade up to do that. So I do not think that either one of them. I do not think either one of them will be here. But for the sake of this draft and doing the mock draft, Kenny Pickett will be our pick here at number 20. McDuffie went the cornerback from Washington to the Patriots right after us. Daniel Falele went in the first round at 26. That's a new upgrade there.
Yeah, he never goes that high in these mocks, so that's something. There goes Brisker.
Yep.
There goes Tariq Woolen, so there's your last.
Devin Lloyd just went
Desmond Ridder.
Yep. So this is already changing from the last time James and I monkeyed around with this.
Well, and think about the trades that have happened since then. You know, the Browns don't have a first-round pick anymore. There are other teams that have more first-round picks than they had previously. There's a lot going on.
That there is.
So here we are, second round, top available prospects according to the Draft Network. Number one jumps out at me big time.
Yep.
Perrion Winfrey. What's that total value there? Number 33 is what they have him
33,
ranked,
and we're at 52 right
and
now.
available at 52, which is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So obviously, I would want to look at wide receivers. I would want to look at safeties and see if anybody fell in either one of those categories.
George Pickens is
But I'm
still
already
here.
leaning.
George Pickens is still here. We've talked about him a couple times privately.
We sure have.
Who else did you want to look at? Cornerback?
Safety.
Safety. The biggest one here. Oh, nobody. I thought there was somebody here. There's nobody. Nobody fell here.
Nope. None of them dropped. Corners. Any corners dropped for us?
Nope, none.
Taylor, kind of tempting.
Linebacker, you had a couple guys drop here with.
Yeah, Nakobe Dean is not a scheme fit, so that would push us to Christian Harris, who's also undersized but has some better length than what you've got out of Nakobe Dean. I don't think Pittsburgh prioritizes middle linebacker this high unless it's like one of the elite dudes, which only Devin Lloyd is really one that's tempting enough for me.
Listen, we talked about it in the first round. Perrion Winfrey would be a potential in the second. I think that's that is the only choice we have right now.
There's no offensive lineman that fell, right?
No,
because I could see that as well.
Offensive tackle, nobody. Offensive line, nobody technically fell. It's all the guys that you'd expect to be here.
Yeah, it's those guys are all you would expect them to be available third or fourth round. I think it's too big of a steal to pass up, man. Perrion Winfrey there in the second round is absolutely incredible value. This is a guy that at the combine, 6'3.5", a hair over 300 pounds, and he ran his 40. I want to say it was like a 4.7 or something.
I'll take it.
Very, very quick dude. I'm going to pull this up because I've got it in front of me here. His 40 time was 4.89
in a weird
official,
turn,
which is real quick.
Yeah, in a weird turn of events, the Giants draft Sam Howell, quarterback from North Carolina. Weird.
Not really.
I'm making a joke because everyone was so big on Daniel Jones for the longest time.
Because he's not that great.
Yeah, Carson Strong, the quarterback with the last name Strong, went to the Minnesota Vikings.
There it is.
And
Carson's expected to be a third-round pick, so that's right around where they would have thought he would have been. That's a bummer that Jean-Marie Sellier went one pick in front of us, because that's a goal that would have made some sense. But I think we have to look back at the positions that we feel Pittsburgh needs to address, which is wide receiver and safety. Those two, I believe, are very important that Pittsburgh picks up some talented players here. Wandale Robinson was a real standout. Alec Pierce, another guy that could be a target for Pittsburgh later on. Safety, is Nick Cross still available?
Nick Cross is still there, ranked 129.
And he's the next one that's going to come off the board.
If it's not Brian Cook. When I look at predictive board, they have Nick Cross first, but when I look at the actual player rankings, Brian Cook from Cincinnati is ranked 10 picks higher than him, or 10 positions, I should say. And he's all the way down here. Nick Cross would be interesting to me. I think I think if you're going to get Nick Cross, it has to be here. I don't think he's going to make it to the next pick.
We've done enough of these mock drafts to see that he doesn't last to Pittsburgh's pick in the fourth round, and a lot of that has to do because it's a compensatory pick. So corner, let's double check with corners.
Nobody fell.
And I see you got the linebackers pulled up there.
Hold
on, don't go off there yet.
Some off the corners or off the linebackers? What do you want?
No, corners. Yeah,
corners
give me the corners again real quick. So the one that Cam Taylor-Britt, he's pretty decent. Yeah, if Pittsburgh's going to take one, it's going to be a big guy with some elite speed. So I'm not sure if any of these guys really fit the bill on what Pittsburgh's looking for, and none of them are real steals at this point either. What are you leaning towards here, Cody?
I'm not going to lie. We talked about the tight end position. I don't mind Isaiah Likely. I don't think Pittsburgh would draft a tight end in the third. But that's like almost a steal at this position. Again, I don't think they're going to do that. I'm leaning more towards one of these linebackers because a lot of decent linebackers fell. Darian Beavers fell. Leo from Wisconsin fell. We
No.
talked about freaking
Yeah.
another Wisconsin linebacker on the Steelers roster. Those are the top guys available, and Pittsburgh oftentimes winds up being unfortunately, sometimes this is a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing for Pittsburgh. They draft the best guy available a lot of the time. And I think it would be hard to pass up one of these linebackers when we're looking at linebacker depth.
Let me tell you, one of these linebackers is somebody that really jumps out at me, and I'm going to tell you a stat line, and you tell me if you like this or not. This gentleman, 6'3.5", 237 pounds, 32 3/8 inch long arms, so he's got good length to him. He didn't run his 40, but he did a vert of 36.5 and a broad of 10.5, which shows really good explosiveness. And his 3-cone was a 6.91, one of the best 3-cones, which is your agilities of all the off-ball linebackers.
That sounds like Darian Beavers, if you ask me.
Did you cheat?
Yes.
I'm a fan of Darian Beavers' game. Going into the pre-draft process, he was somebody that a lot of people had as one of their top middle linebackers. Even at this stage, not too many middle linebackers have been selected in this draft, and he would be a larger guy, good speed, good length, the kind of guy that could possibly shed a few blockers here and there and still go and make the play happen. I like the combination of size, speed, and a capability with Darian Beavers. So I would personally be between him and Nick Cross for this.
Well, I do believe that Nick Cross is not going to make it to the next pick, but I think it would be hard to pass up another linebacker when we don't know what we have right now with Devin Bush. We're uncertain with there. Devin Bush was supposed to be the guy to come in and replace the athleticism of Ryan Shazier. I think Darian Beavers gives us another option for a long-term solution at the linebacker position. That's my reasoning for I think we take Mr. Beavers himself. And because it will make our friend Kendall happy.
Definitely wouldn't disappoint Kendall, that's for sure. Now, my question to you is the feedback. If I'm looking back at this from the perspective of just the normal fan, they're going to say, well, Pittsburgh just drafted Buddy Johnson last year in the 4th round. Does this mean we're giving up on Buddy Johnson already if we go after Darian Beavers?
Absolutely not. But Buddy Johnson doesn't have the same, if I remember correctly, Buddy didn't have the same lightning speed that this guy has. And explosiveness.
No, I don't think Buddy was slow by any means, but I think the Beavers is a little quicker. Yeah, so I think that that's important to say that because Miles Jack was only a 2-year deal. Devin Bush is on the last year of his rookie deal. Pittsburgh has not given him the 5th-year option yet. You could be minus both your starting middle linebackers in 2 years.
Yeah.
So you do kind of need to rebuild the room, and we've gone over previously about how we feel the depth after that drops off pretty sharply. I mean, Robert Spillane has shown some real nice splashes, but past that, the other guys kind of looked lost and like they didn't belong really. And they're not even sticking out on special teams.
No, not at all.
Usually your
our fullbacks are better on special teams.
Yes. And consistently for years now. We haven't had a middle linebacker that excelled, a backup middle linebacker that excelled on special teams since Tyler
Matakevich. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And that's been a bit.
Yeah, and he was supposed to be the unathletic middle linebacker, and it turned out he was the best one on special teams we've had in a long time.
I think we're sold on Darian Beavers here. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think it's the right choice. It's the only way that you can convince me otherwise is if you tell me Pittsburgh did not handle the safety position
at all
in the offseason. Yeah, if they don't do anything between now and the draft, then I think you have to take Nick Cross. But assuming that Pittsburgh will do something at the safety position, at the worst case scenario, bring back Terrell Edmonds on like a 1 or 2 year deal just to have someone in place. I say that the talent of Beavers is something you shouldn't pass up on.
All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and watch for Nick Cross, next pick to the right after us to the freaking Patriots.
Patriots. I hate the Patriots. Oh.
We knew he wasn't gonna get there. Isaiah Likely just went to the Bengals, adding some depth there in their tight end room. Leo, Wisconsin linebacker, just went to the Browns. Interesting there.
There's a real run on off-ball linebackers, so we got ours at the right time. Because basically anybody we were looking at would have been gone by the next round.
Yeah, Jesse Luketa just went to the Jets from Penn State. Oh, Jelani Woods, the tight end, went to the Washington Commanders. If that's their name right now, Commanders.
Yeah, for now.
For now.
Give them time.
We'll see what happens.
I'm sure they'll change it again. That's what they do.
A couple more safeties coming off the board. No name. Alec Pierce just came off the board.
Ooh, that's a bummer.
That would have probably been the next pick. That would have been a good one. Because the next wide receiver that really has my interest is Romeo Dubs.
Is Danny Gray on the list?
Danny Gray is on the list from SMU.
Yeah, Danny is another one. A very fast guy who I want to say he popped at the Shrine game, maybe? Let me pull him up real quick. Danny Gray he was at the Senior Bowl. I'm sorry. Yeah, 4.33 40 on Danny Gray. So he definitely would have the Steelers' attention.
Is he big?
He's almost 6 foot tall.
Okay.
186 pounds.
So
5'11" and change.
Here's the pickle we're in right now, James.
Yeah.
Danny Gray is available, who I'm now interested as well.
Yeah.
But at safety, you have Brian Cook from Cincinnati and JT Woods. JT Woods was a player that we talked about.
Woods has some speed to him.
Yeah. So both those guys are available. JT Woods is projected 168, and Danny Gray is 158. We're sitting here at 138. Not sure what you're thinking here, my guy.
Man, realistically, I would think trade back and try to nail them both. But we're not in a situation where we're doing that. It's draft the guy where we're at.
Yep.
So what we have to look at here is what do we prioritize? A guy that could be the third wide receiver in the offense right out of the gate. In Danny Gray or in Romeo Dubs, either one of these guys, pro-capable wide receivers right out of the gate, or are we playing the long game and getting a safety that we could possibly develop into a starter long-term? Now, I think that with what we've decided, thinking that Pittsburgh is going to address this safety situation, I think we need to prioritize wide receiver here.
All right.
Because the wide receiver room is kind of thin. It's kind of shallow right now.
I'm down for Danny Gray. I'm down for Danny
Gray. Bo Melton, Romeo Dubs are the top three guys here. Now, Bo Melton does kind of jump out at me as well as another name that I should know better. 5'11", 189. Bo ran a 4.34 40-yard dash. So not to be outshined with a 38-inch vert and a 10-1 on his broad. Bo Melton, very similar size to Danny Gray. And the speed's dang near identical, which is basically lights out on both these guys.
I'm gonna stick with Danny Gray for the size.
Okay.
I mean, unless you want to try and convince me otherwise.
No. I mean, yeah, you're looking 5'11" versus 5'11" and 7/8. So
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
I guess I thought it was a big. And when I pull up Danny Gray, it says 5'6". When I pull up Bo, it says it does say 5'11". I thought it said 5'10". All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's stick with Danny Gray.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Danny Gray out of SMU. That sounds familiar to probably.
Bo Melton went next.
Yeah. So you take your pick. The other one was going to go. You know what I mean?
Yep. I'm watching for any safeties to fall here. Kobe Bryant, the cornerback from Cincinnati, just went to Atlanta. How crazy would it be if somebody got both corners from Cincinnati? That would be wild.
Oh, yeah. Sauce and Kobe. Isn't that something?
Brian Cook, safety, just went to the Eagles. Romeo Dubs just went to the Raiders.
This is a long drop here from the fourth pick, and that's the compensatory pick to the Steelers' next pick, which is in the 6th round. So it's really important that Pittsburgh addresses whatever things
You're
that they
strong.
feel. Oh, there he goes.
JT Woods, there he goes just now.
Yeah. These are all the guys that if you want them, you better take them in the 4th round because they ain't going to be there in the 6th, man.
Or again, like James and I said, trade back and try to get, 2 of these guys potentially.
I'm big on that this year, Cody. I'm going to be honest. I don't mind the way this played out with getting Kenny Pickett. I think if the Steelers get Kenny Pickett, it's a home run 1st round pick.
Yeah.
But if both Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis are gone and they're actually targeting some of these safeties, I think you can trade back from 20 to like the later 20s, pick up an additional 2nd or 3rd round pick, And now you can address that safety in the first round, get your Lewis Sign, get your Jaquan Brisker, your Daxton Hill, whoever you like out of that group. Get your starting safety right there. You can address wide receiver now. You can address some of these other positions as well, and get some more of these holes filled. Because I feel like if those quarterbacks are gone and that's who you're really married to, a lot of what Pittsburgh needs to get, you can probably get a few picks later.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you right now, look at these top 3 safeties available right now.
Yeah, what do we got?
Nick Grant.
All right.
Leon O'Neal Jr.
All right.
And Isaiah Polameo, if that's how you pronounce that.
I don't know who that is.
You know who that is. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly necessarily, but
yeah,
that's interesting.
Yep.
I don't know what you're thinking here. We're sitting here.
I am thinking that I want to learn a little more about these guys, so I'm kind of looking to see if we have any info on them. Leon O'Neal was a Senior Bowl guy. He's 6'1", 204 pounds. Did not run a 40-yard dash at the combine, so I don't know how fast he is. Nick Grant doesn't look like he was invited, so I don't have any results on Nick Grant or Pulamau, but I know Pulamau was a tall dude, wasn't he? Like 6'4"?
6'4". And they have him actually at a draft rating. Dre Harris has him at a 74. 4th round value. We're sitting here in the 6th.
Oh wow! So Dre really liked him. Dre really liked him. Does it say on that profile how heavy he is now?
Unfortunately, no. Yes, 205 pounds.
Okay, yeah, I remembered him being kind of a skinnier guy. Now, this is a cousin to Troy Polamalu.
Correct.
Which we had mistakenly thought that his teammate was the cousin last year. But we got that ironed out. This is the actual cousin of Troy Polamalu. So somebody with some pedigree in the family, some serious size at 6'4", 205. That's a big safety, man. If he's got the movement skills, I like what our secondary coach and now defensive coordinator, Terrell Austin, could possibly do with some development there. I would definitely be down with taking that shot on a safety like Isaiah Polamau, unless you wanted to wait until later.
No. I want to take this now.
Okay.
I don't think he'll be here at the next pick.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is that if you don't go somebody like that, then you consider like Quentin Lake later on.
Yeah. Because who else would you look at here? We got our wide receiver, our linebacker, our interior defensive lineman, our quarterback.
There's probably no corners, right?
No, I mean, Matt Hankins from Iowa isn't bad. What?
No, you're cool.
Why are you laughing?
Bad.
He's not. I mean, he's a big corner. He's probably what we would need. He's also a 4th round value. He fell. He shouldn't be here right now. There's no names that I'm like, oh yeah, we should totally get this guy. There's 2 DeMarcus Fields.
Not interior offensive line. Let me see if any of the guys are there that I recognize.
Nobody fell.
Read off some of those names for me if you don't mind.
James MP, Jatiri Carter, Brock Hoffman, Nick Ford, Ben Brown.
Okay.
No names that stood out to me. Offensive tackle, same thing. Nobody stood out here for me. Obviously Tyler Vrabel, but that's not till later.
No, yeah, that's not anyone we'd be interested in right now.
The one running back we were interested in off the board. I think it ran in the family. Keep it in the family, man. Keep it in the family.
Isaiah Polamau of USC will be the selection.
There we go. Let's see who comes off here. I'm looking for other safeties. Nick Grant just went to the Colts. Dustin Crum, quarterback from Kent State. Leon O'Neal Jr. just went, and Amari Carter just went to the Browns. So there's a chance he could have fallen, but with 4 safeties going off there, or 3 safeties if you don't include ours, I think he would have been one of those ones taken. We're sitting here at 225. What do you want to look at, James?
Well, I think we're looking at depth for offensive line. We're looking at any possible corners with high-end athleticism that maybe aren't the most accomplished guys. So we might have to look some 40 times up and some height weights on some of these guys. And then a third tight end, a running back that might be able to make some splash. These are the kind of things that I would be interested in at this point in the draft.
Check out
So
Kyler McMichael from North Carolina, cornerback. He's a little bit of a taller guy.
McMichael, not an invite to the combine. Sorry.
Okay. Demarion Williams.
Marion
Houston.
Williams. Houston, he was, and he's a Shrine guy. He's 5'10", 182 pounds, kind of short arms, did not run a 40-yard dash. 17 reps on the bench, 34.5-inch vert, 9'10" on the broad. So this is probably a guy that's going to be more of a slot defender. So if you're looking for an upgrade from that might be somebody who could do that for us. What else do we have here?
Sam Webb from Missouri Western.
Sam Webb.
I feel like we've talked about him before, whether privately
and he's
or
got
on
the
show.
size that you're looking for. 6'1.5", 201 pounds, 32 1/8 inch long arms, and a 4.4 840. And he also did 14 reps on a bench, so that's good strength too. So there is an athletic guy that you could be looking at with decent size.
Let's try one more. But right now, Sam Webb is actually really interesting to me. Jermaine Waller from Virginia Tech.
Jermaine Waller, Virginia Tech, a Shrine guy, 6 foot, 180 pounds, 4.6 840.
Nope.
Yeah, let's rule that out. We're looking for somebody with some speed if we're going to take somebody.
I'm thinking we take Sam Webb here. Size, speed, and strength.
Yeah, man, it's a ball of clay, right? And that's what I always say. Late round picks looking for a ball of clay.
I like it. Here we go. Sam Webb.
Sam Webb.
Looking down here, I believe we have one. Yeah, we're in the 7th round. So last pick. Actually, we have 2 more picks in the 7th. If I'm not mistaken.
That should have been our first 7th round.
That
pick.
was our first 7th. So we have one more.
Yeah,
last
so
pick.
This should be the last one. I think you know where I want to go on this one.
I know exactly. Tight end, Connor Hayward.
Pittsburgh's scheme, and really anyone's, Connor Hayward would not be a tight end. He would be a fullback. Now, he has good receiving capability, so you can split him out and have him run some routes, and he'll be successful in that role. But the important thing here is not that this is Cam Hayward's little brother, although that's kind of actually really important. This is a guy that was the feature running back at Michigan State until a top guy came in, and now there's a guy, Ken Ford, I think it is, who's supposed to be a 1st or 2nd round pick out of Michigan State in this exact draft class. So Connor Hayward had to kind of go into a secondary supportive role. He's got excellent hands. Not super fast, but he is a 4.7 40 kind of guy, and he's great on special teams in the role of tackling ball carriers. So this is a direct replacement for Derek Watt. I would not replace Derek Watt year 1, but he is in the last year of his deal. So I would say you just don't extend Derek Watt after this year. You run 2 fullbacks for 1 year, and this is in place of having 6 middle linebackers like Pittsburgh did last year. You run 2 fullbacks. Maybe you only keep 4 or 5 middle linebackers this year, but both of your fullbacks are going to be on special teams making tackles. And honestly, I think he'd be a tremendous addition and somebody that would be highly likely to make the team, which is tough to do in the 7th round.
I agree. Connor Hayward it is. Connor Hayward with the 241st pick of the NFL draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers select tight end, fullback, whatever you want to call him. Little brother of Cam Hayward, Connor Hayward.
Little Ironhead, just like his dad, playing fullback.
So again, we're going to go over this real quick. The draft we had 20 overall, Kenny Pickett, quarterback from Pittsburgh, 52. Perrion Winfrey, interior defensive lineman from Oklahoma. 84, Darian Beavers, linebacker from Cincinnati. 138, Danny Gray, wide receiver from SMU. 208, safety Isaiah Mayo, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Safety USC. 225,
AKA Little Troy.
Sam, I hope he has the long hair. I don't know. 225.
I think he does.
Sam Webb, cornerback from Missouri Western, and at 241, Connor Hayward from Michigan State, tight end fullback combo, special teams MVP. So that's going to do
So
it
quick
here.
reaction before you click off of this. Immediate reaction. What do you wish you could have addressed that you did not address in this?
I probably wish we would have addressed offensive line. We didn't touch offensive line once.
Yeah.
Which I think will be big, but I also believe that Pittsburgh's offensive line right now is already better than it was last year with the additions
I
they
agree
have.
100%.
With the additions they have, I wouldn't be upset with a draft like this. I'd be slightly concerned, but also very hopeful, quite frankly.
Yeah, and I think where this took a turn for us, and number one, you don't expect Kenny Pickett to be there, so that was a
Correct.
pleasant surprise. But number two, in the second round, with Perrion Winfrey still being available, the 33rd ranked player according to the Draft Network, and we were picking at 52, you couldn't pass up on a guy like this. Extreme pass rushing capability, 35-inch long arms. He's got the size, the strength, the quickness, everything that you're looking for in a starting defensive lineman for Pittsburgh.
Yep.
So if something happens and Stephon Tuitt is not able to come back, here you go. You've got the guy right on the team ready to go. If somebody goes down, no problem. You just plug him right in there. And not to mention your first guy off the bench is an immediate upgrade over what we had last year, which honestly got better as the season went along, but I would feel so confident with that. It was kind of a luxury pick. Let's be real. That's not a real big need for Pittsburgh right now on the defensive line. Not at all, really. In the second round, there's only two guys that I would consider: Perrion Winfrey, Travis Jones. Those are the only two. And when Perrion Winfrey was there, we couldn't really say no. But by doing that, it did not allow us to address the safety position high. It did not allow us to address the wide receiver position high. It did not allow us to address the cornerback position high. So those are kind of my regrets, not being able to do those in higher rounds. But the talent that you would get out of Perrion Winfrey is incredible. I mean, when you look at the defense that led the entire NFL in sacks the last 5 years straight in the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're upgrading with your second round pick, which is a pretty incredible idea. Right?
Yeah, that's massive. So that's going to wind up ending this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, so we really appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully the audio quality was a lot better for you this time around. I think we got that all fixed out, though.
We did.
We tested it a bunch of times before we recorded this time. So appreciate you guys stopping in. Feel free to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Don't forget to like and share. Click the little dingy button in the corner there, like Cody always says. He doesn't call it the dingy button, but don't forget to click the button and get the alerts. And don't forget those 5-star reviews for us, folks. This is James signing out for Cody.
Peace.